Good day, everyone. Today we are going to be tackling a question which is normally given for end of primary school year exam. That means the entrance examination of the secondary school in many, almost all countries. Now, we are going to tackle this question using a technique which has got 2 or 3 steps maximum. The question what's on the board is given timed by the examiners for minimum 30 seconds. Maximum, there are papers that I have seen giving the same question for 60 seconds. That means a minute is given for the student to read and answer the question. Now, the problem faced by the student, also by the parent, also by the teachers, is how quickly you can make a child or student to do this question and arrive at the right answer within 3 seconds. That is less than 3 seconds we are talking about. That is 1, 2, 3 seconds. Can you imagine that the minimum allocated time, allowed time, is to spend 30 seconds on answering this question? But we are going to tackle it within 3 seconds. Now that will tell you that many parents and many teachers, they come and tell the student or the child, you are not quick enough. You got to be quicker than this doing this question. But we don't tell the student or the child, we don't actually guide them as to how you can do these type of questions quickly. That is fast as 3 seconds for a 30 second, that is less than 3 seconds for a 30-second question. So this is what the students and the children will require, because they want to do this question quickly and save time. The time saved is not 10%, it is not 25%, it is not even 50%, it is well into 80-90% of the time allowed is saved. That means the children or the students did not use the time to get to the right answer of this question, whereas it is given by the examiner for the student to spend it. That means the saved time on each question up to 90% excuse me, is very wanted. Why? Because that if the student is doing almost all the questions like this, then he or she should have saved at least you're talking about 20 to 25 minutes out of 1 hour paper, because we are doing 30-second allocation of the question in 3 seconds or less than 3 seconds only. So the problem of your teachers telling you that you are not quick enough, or you as a parent telling the child you got to do this quicker than what you're doing, is disappearing now. You don't have to say anything to them, because if they know how to do this by using the technique which I'm going to reveal to you right now, you will see that the child or your children and the students will be very comfortable doing a question like this in 3 seconds or less than 3 seconds. So there's no time issue at the moment. The most important problem with the examination is many students find difficult to do the paper that will do the examination within the time allocated, because there's no extra time given in an examination. You got to do that within the time. But here we are actually doing it in very, very, very small fraction of the time. It is only about 10%, less than 10% of the time allowed we are using actually to answer the question. So if you keep on watching the video, you will see this unfolding in front of you. I'm going to go through this, demonstrating to the children and the parents and also the teachers as to how this question can be tackled in 3 simple steps using the technique. So first I will write what is called the technique right here. So we have to use the technique. Each question will have a technique, and the child should know the technique. And I'm going to say step 1 is for this. So let's look at the question and realize what is involved. And the question says, John emptied his piggy box or piggy bank and found that he had an equal number of 5p, 5 pence, 2p, 2 pence coins, and 1p coins, a penny, that so many penny 1p coins, amounting to total of £3.20. That means you add all the coins for 5p, all the coins to 2p, all the coins to 1p, and then add all of them. The total value what you had in the piggy bank or piggy box is £3.20. The question where it's being asked is important. How many coins were there all together? Remember, the word altogether is very important. How many coins were there altogether? Now, if I may say this in my own simple words, the children might be able to understand better. Your dad is breaking breaking open the piggy bank where you used to put 2 pence coins, 5p coins, 5 pence coins, and 1p coins as well into that. And after a while, the dad says, okay, let's open it today because I'm on holiday, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, okay, we're going to open it and I'm going to count and let you know how much we got. He counted and he found that same number of 5p coins. He put 5p coins, same number. If it is 20, it is 20. Then another 2p coins, another 20. This is only for example. And another 1p coins, he said counted. And it's the same number of coins for each 5p, 2p, and 1p. So you had 30 5p coins. You also had 32p coins. And you had 1p 30 coins as well. And then he said, when I totaled it up, in my mind, my child, it came up to £3.20. So you got £3.20 to spend out of opening this piggy box or piggy bank. Now, the question what is asked is, can you tell me, my child or my student, how many coins were there inside the piggy bank altogether? That is the question asked. So hopefully that all the students understood the question. So I'm taking time to make sure that you have understood the question. To read this question, it just takes a few seconds, possibly a second or two would be just fine if you are a quick reader. Then what is needed is answering the questions less than 3 seconds. You haven't even consumed up to 4-5 seconds reading the question and answering, but 30 seconds, 25 seconds saved. Right there, 25 seconds saved. So minimum 25 seconds saved. But to answer, you will leave only less than 3 seconds. Now, let me go through how to do this. And please concentrate and look at the board so that I can write. I'm going to go, and the first step is add these denominations of 5, 2, and 1. So I'm going to say 5 plus 2 plus 1 equals 8. Simple step. Will it take a second? No, less than a second is good enough for this. Now step 2 is this. I'm going to say £3.20 is 320 pence because I got the denominations in pence. I'm going to make the pound £3.20 into 320 p's, that is 20p, that means 320 pence we got. And I take this and then divide that by 8 and that will give you 40. Second step, is it not consuming less than 1 second again for all of you? Now, so easy, we have only consumed less than 2 seconds so far, and the third step should give us the answer. The answer is that we got 40 of 1p coins, 40 of 2p coins, 40 of 5p coins. Altogether we got 120 coins, and that is the answer. We got the answer, which I circle it right now to show it to you that we got the answer. Altogether there were 120 coins. Now, did you get the steps? So easy. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So if you get a question like this, you can easily do that. Less than 3 seconds. If you're even fast, it's just 2 seconds enough. Tuck, 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 tuck. You get to the question, get to the answer of 120 coins. Now, this is not good enough. I'm going to prove this to you, because otherwise you will think, oh, I haven't proved this, but I've only got to the answer. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do you a little bit of proof, and I'm going to write it in a different color. So you know the proving this is very, very, very simple. I said 40 1p coin, 40 2p coins, 40 5p coins. So 40 into 1p coins is 40 pence. And I'm going to say 40 into 2p coins, 2 pence coins is 80p. And I'm going to say 40 again into 5p coins is 200p. And if you add all of that, 320 pence. Is it not what we started with? Or it is equivalent to pound 320. Okay, all of you got this proof. 40 1p coins, 40p, 42p coins, 80p, 45p coins, 200, 320 pence, and £3.20 is not what you got in the question. So I proved it back to the question with the answer what we got, 120, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40. You happy right now? Okay, so we did this question within 3 seconds to answer this. Now, please, 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 if you get a question like this, tackle that in 3 seconds and be happy, over the moon, that I saved so much time out of one question. And imagine if you can do that for many, many, many different types of questions, then you actually got so many minutes saved. As I told before, 20 to 25 minutes saved. Now, I need to tell you a few things which is important. I have dedicated a blog site to demonstrate questions and answers like this, and the blog site's name is on the video right at the bottom as well, and here it is, secretmathstechniques.com. I repeat that for you again. It is called secretmathstechniques.com. Now, this blog site has been designed with many, many special features which will be an advantage point for you and your parents and your teachers as well, if the teachers are using it. Because let me tell you, let me take you down one by one the advantages. Number one is that when you go into the blog site, you will have many questions of this type which you can tackle in 3 seconds or less than 3 seconds. First advantage. The second advantage is that this question, when you read this, it will be a timer below that onto the block side. I'm talking about each block you click. And that timer, you can click it, your parent can click it, or your teacher can click it, and then it runs into seconds. For example, you took 45 seconds to do this question. It will say stop button, and then you know your child or the student has consumed how many seconds. Second advantage for you. And the third advantage is this. Now, this answer what I gave you here in red will not be given at the time the child is reading the question, because it will be hidden, and there will be a button saying is hidden there and says answer, click, right? So why? I don't want your child or the student to look at the answer and then attempt the question. After attempting the question, timed for the second advantage, and now you go and click there, the answer will unfold with the steps. You go through the steps and see, to the amazement of yourself as a parent and teachers, and to the thrill of the student or your child or children, they will see that this can be done in 3 seconds or less than 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Now that is the third advantage what you got. Now that means you can make sure or ensure that the child or the student has mastered the technique, right? And can apply to another question. That is the fourth advantage, because I have given, after doing a question like this, I have repeated another question similar to this, but changing the numbers. Instead of 5p, 2p and 1p, it could be 10p, 5p and 2p. It could be a different amount as well here. That's all. And your student or your child can do that question. That's called practice question after the answer to this question, and you go and do that, because that ensures the parent or the teacher that the technique has been mastered by your child or the student. So this way you got 4 advantages of it. And please log into the blog site secretmathstechniques.com, and you got so many questions already, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10, 11, 12 questions already in there. So please visit the blog site and attempt all those questions in the very orderly way. Don't look at the answer because you had to click on the button to reveal the answer, etc., etc. And one more thing I have to say is that when you go into each blog, there's a comment column there, and there's a field for comment, and I welcome your comments, because your comments will make me continuously improve the blog site, so that it will be advantage for yourself, that means your children and your students itself. Now one more thing I have to say is that time to time there's a space that you can leave your email address after looking at the blog. And if you leave the email address, time to time I send bulk emails of so many questions, new questions I'm talking about, to those people who have given me the email address. So you will be one of them if you leave your email address, otherwise I won't be able to send it to you. So please leave your comments, and also you leave your email address. So time to time when I post like a 10 question or a dozen questions, you will get that bulk email coming to you as well. So that will be sent to so many thousands of people who leave their email address, and then I will be able to send that to them. And I appreciate your time listening to me, and thank you so much for it. And I hope your child is thrilled, understood clearly, and if not, go through this again in the blog site, because I will be putting in the blog site. You can also go through the video itself on the YouTube, which you are watching right now. And thank you so much again for your valuable time.